And I work my calves, and they just will not grow. I said, well, what are you going to do about it? He said, I'm getting calf implants. I said, I'm sorry, what? And you got to put in, they look fantastic. I mean, awesome. And then his legs started hurting. Every time he wanted to poop or piss, I had to take him to the bathroom on my back because he couldn't move his legs. And I had to
Welcome, everybody. It's another edition of The Sports Hole. I'm your host, Luke. With me, as always, XFL Jim, Rock and Roll Matty Goldberg. Yeah, that clip was from the Dark Side of the Ring, Buff Bagwell. We'll be leaning into that later on. That is a fantastic episode, by the way.
I love how you set that up, by the way. What do they call that in the business? Is there a name for that? Like
a tease. It's a tease.
Yeah, it's just opening up like a cold opening with a tease, I guess.
I think you could either go with that or that his mother would shave his nutsack when he was a grown man. You could either go.
Now you've just ruined my other clips, Matty.
I know. I'm just saying that for the tease, you could have either gone with that or that.
Yeah, well, the tease only happened because I hit it by accident, but it sounded much better.
That was great.
Worked out well. One of life's little happy accidents. Guys, what's going on? Jim just took a 20-minute shit.
Yes, I did.
Later than usual.
You missed my nephew telling Luke he's this and that.
Spoiler for my life, everybody. I average about 20 minutes per shit. So
how many poops do you take?
So you don't shit at work because they would can your ass.
No, I do.
20 minutes, they just like, oh, he's gone. Like,
yeah, I try and do it first thing in the morning. If I don't do it like first thing in the morning, if I do it like, oh, it's 9 o'clock, we're about ready to go out and start working on stuff, and then I go take a 20-minute, then they get pissed. But
yeah,
if I get it right when I get to the office, it's usually pretty good.
So are you moving? Are you live alone still, or?
Yeah, I don't move. I'm not moving till July.
Now let me ask you, because you're living with the lady.
I will be.
Will you guys have separate restrooms?
No. Her house
only,
she has the house that she rents. It only has one restroom.
Because you ladies like their restroom because they know.
How does a house only have one restroom in this?
It's a 3-bedroom. It's a 3-bedroom, 1 bathroom.
Oh,
then they need another. They need another shitter. You should put in a shitter there, just for you.
But the one that she has there is a bidet, so it's awesome.
Nice.
Oh, it's awesome.
She should build an outhouse for you.
Yeah,
that's what she
should
do.
Just convert the garage into just a giant bathroom,
and then just have you bend over when you're done.
That is weird.
Like fire hydrant your asshole to clean it.
Most 3 bedrooms have 2 bathrooms.
Yeah, and it's a house, it's not even an apartment.
Yeah.
That's
actually my house growing up had 3 bedrooms and a 1.5 bath. And like almost nobody used the other half bath. There's only like 3 of us total. So,
yeah. Well, one's like probably like an emergency deuce where you're gonna really stink it up, so you go in there, and the other one is like more shower, get ready. Yeah.
Right.
That kind of thing.
But now like his lady's gonna be getting ready, like trying to look all good for their night out, and Jim's just gonna be taking a huge dump.
That's how I do things.
I like that.
We've done that before. We've done a couple trial runs with that. It's worked out.
Oh, really? Okay, you guys should visit Mexico because then together, because both of you will get the shits together.
Oh, that's got to be brutal.
And that's how you really get to know one another.
See, I would be terrified
of getting diarrhea.
Well, yeah, I have a nervous stomach as it is, and the most nervous stomach, like Mexico's got to be the worst place for a nervous stomach.
If we're keeping it with the shit talk, last week, I think we talked about it on the show before. I went like 4 days without taking a solid shit. It was all pure liquid.
Ooh,
nice.
Oh, that'll happen. You're not eating enough fiber, Jim. That's the problem.
No, I'm not.
Fiber is a bulking.
Well, that's it. That's the thing too, because so this week I got my blood work done, and they said they put me on a cholesterol pill. My cholesterol is elevated, and so I've been eating a lot more fruit and vegetables. And I definitely see a difference in my stool samples. It's wild.
What's your go-to fruit, Matty?
Well, I love strawberries, raspberries, blueberries.
You're a big berry guy.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
One of my best dates involved diarrhea, too.
There you go. You never know.
On the beach at Malibu with this beautiful girl during the day. And I picked up just some snacks from 7-Eleven, including like this parfait.
Did you go in the ocean?
Yogurt. No, I went. It was one of those things where like I remember her walking out of the water and the sun's just hitting her, and it was just like You know,
Oh,
like the
shit.
Hollywood Nights song is
Yeah.
going, and like he could never go home after this. And then I got diarrhea, and I had to like run to the beach
Bathroom.
restroom.
Yeah.
And they didn't have a stall. The stall was
Sure.
like waist high. So you're sitting
Yep.
there taking a deuce, and you're like looking at like making eye contact
Of course.
and it was
You know,
horrible.
you know
And she was very
yeah.
sympathetic towards it because I think she just saw me as more of a friend than anything.
But you knew what you were doing.
You knew exactly what I was up to.
Yeah.
I had a first date that we went to a restaurant. And I had like explosive diarrhea in the bathroom at the restaurant for like a good 25 minutes.
What does that make? What is that like? What do you think? Like, isn't that the worst feeling? You're like,
I felt so bad, but
because
we
you
ended
know
up.
you're embarrassed. You know they think you're disgusting.
I felt so bad. We dated for like 4 years though.
You know,
so it worked out.
Maybe that hooked her.
Yeah. The
Maybe
Staten
she's like,
Island
it can't
Ferry.
be any worse than this.
You know, the Staten Island Ferry, and that's where maybe millions of people go to work.
Wait, is that
every
your
day.
nickname, Maddie?
No,
Oh.
but I don't know. I haven't been there in like 15 years. But the bathroom in the Staten Island Ferry, no doors. So in the morning, you're just seeing 40 businessmen with newspapers shitting. It's the weirdest shit you
like
ever
they're
see.
all just shitting. Wait, no doors? Like, what do you mean no doors?
No
like,
doors on the toilet.
On the toilet. Okay. So, but there were like you had to walk into a
There's
restroom
rows
with a
of
door,
like
though.
30 toilets because it's a big boat.
Right.
But there's no doors.
Oh boy.
So
that's where
like
boys
stalls,
become men.
But these guys don't care. You're just like, you go in there and they just got the newspapers. They're all dropping plow.
Yeah, men don't care. I think
I care.
My dad would go with the door open. A lot of people in my family
Yeah.
would. My aunts, my aunt would hold a full conversation with
My
you.
dad would just walk around the house naked. He didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
My dad was always in his whitey tighties and like he'd be scratching his nuts, telling me about a Michigan recruit like at 3 a.m. Like,
5-star. 5-star.
We got him, Luke. Just getting off the Michigan message boards. It's just insane.
Yeah.
It was a different generation. That I don't feel like families
times.
are that close anymore.
I'll have to ask somebody from Staten Island if they put stalls there. Because I
hope not.
Yeah.
It would be the end of a legacy.
But it's good to see you guys. March Madness is here. The weather's nice.
What's up? We've already had our first playing game.
I'm jacked.
And I'm already 1-0. My bets. I took the over. I hit it. I thought I've never seen either team, but sometimes you just go, what the fuck? The over under was 127. Wagner of what's called Staten Island, as we said, wins.
Yeah.
Howard was it Howard had 3 buzzer beaters that they missed to keep the game tied, and now
a lot of famous alumni from Howard.
Yeah, I really wanted Howard to win that one.
Now we got Colorado State, Virginia, which Virginia already 2 points in 4 minutes. This is what Virginia does. The lowest scoring, most boring team.
They still
to
got
watch.
the same coach.
Yeah.
Yeah. That guy is Mr. Defense. Oh my God.
Yeah.
He's
so
awesome.
It's 2-0 with 3 minutes in, which is like what everybody expects when Virginia plays.
I really want Colorado State to win. I don't want to watch any more Virginia basketball.
By the way, according to our boy Scott Bowser, because it's the unders first half, he wrote in Vegas, every under for the first half is minus 115, which means they're really trying to give you a tax on.
They're catching on to it. They're catching on.
They really are. That's a lot of juice there.
A lot of juice.
Yeah.
That's it. So what do you think? What are you guys thinking about this tourney? Have you guys delved into the stories at all? The players, the teams, what's going on?
I've watched a weekend of basketball, but a lot, about 12 hours a day. So I've had a crash course. Now, obviously, you're not going to be an expert watching maybe 20 hours of college basketball, but I think the story is Jim's Nebraska, because they've never won a game.
There's certainly a story.
And they have this Asian guy that's a lot a And
he's Japanese, right?
Yeah,
he's a lot of fun.
Have you been watching Shogun on Hulu?
I need to.
It's fucking great.
Here's the thing in the tournament. When you get a guy like that, when you get like a Sister Jean, you got to ride the weird hot story. And there's something about this guy that I love. So like he
And
could be
we're
the
playing
sister.
Texas. We're playing Texas A&M in the opening round. They just stole our AD. They just stole our athletic director.
There's a lot of
Ooh.
revenge there. Trev Alberts.
Yeah.
I remember Trev Alberts playing. He got drafted by the Colts in the first round, I think, and he blew out his knee or something. Him and yeah, so he was a top 5 NFL pick, I believe, from Nebraska. Just
Well,
saying.
that's one story we'll all be paying attention
Yeah.
to. Anything
But
else you're
Texas
interested
A&M
in
is
so
tough
far?
because Buzz Williams is a good coach.
There's a couple storylines. Can Purdue redeem themselves? Can Purdue do the thing that Virginia did? What was that? 2 tournaments ago?
Yeah.
Or 2 or 3 tournaments ago?
Mm-hmm.
They got embarrassed last year. I think Purdue
They
could
lost
actually
the
have like
first
a
round.
decent run. Very important tournament for Kentucky. Cal is like the people of Kentucky are very like adamant and angry and upset. They have a very poor showing in the SEC tournament.
Yeah.
I think they need to. I don't think obviously he doesn't need to do anything. His job's not in danger. But the people of Kentucky are getting real mad. And I think in order to get them to not be mad, he should probably make an Elite 8.
Well, Tennessee had a tough tournament too, and they're a Final Four team. I think I was looking at futures. UConn is 4-1. Purdue is I think 5.5 to 1. I fade Purdue. They're not a tournament team.
No,
They're
Purdue's probably like out of the Sweet 16 or something like that.
But interesting value, 12 to 1 North Carolina. I mean, that is some good odds.
They
You
have
put $100 on North Carolina, you win $1,200.
They have a good path because it's Wagner now, and then it'd probably be Michigan State,
Mm-hmm.
and then after that, I'm going to assume it'll either be St. Mary's or Alabama. So they're basically a lock to the Sweet 16, and then from there, it's not crazy. Like they might run into I think Baylor could beat them.
Yeah,
I think Arizona could beat them.
Arizona's another team I fade.
Nevada, maybe.
There's teams I fade, and then there's teams I like.
I know Maddie's favorite guy, Uncle Rico. He's very high on New Mexico coming into the tournament.
Yeah, I like them too, and that's Rick Pitino's son. Also, UConn still is the best team. They are by far the best team.
Oh, easily the best team.
But in my opinion, it is so hard to go back to back. This is the hardest thing to go back to back in.
Their bracket's tough too. Like San Diego State's a solid team in the tournament. Auburn is red hot. Iowa State also red hot.
Iowa State is 25 to 1.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't love taking teams that win their conference tournament.
You like futures, Jim? What are your futures?
I love futures. So my futures, I have one on New Mexico to make the Final Four.
Okay.
I have one on Tennessee that I believe was I forget what it was. I forget what I got Tennessee at. I'd have to look, but I got Tennessee.
And I think they were like 12 to 1 or something.
And I got Creighton to make the Final Four.
Those
are the ones I got right now.
Right?
Yes, it's in Omaha.
Okay.
And they're a 3 seed.
Yeah. So you don't like Iowa State?
I like Iowa State. I just wish I would have gotten them earlier. I don't like taking teams that win their conference.
You weren't impressed that they beat Houston that bad?
No. Like Iowa State looks good. They're red hot. When teams go into their conference tournament red hot, I sometimes find that they have trouble carrying it over.
That is true.
To the NCAA tournament.
One of the things that I feel about why I fade Houston, even though they didn't make the Final Four a few years ago, I hate teams that are just defense they
play so slow.
So if they're behind, it's hard for a team like that to come back because they're not used to it.
Are you saying that potentially Nebraska could beat them in the second round if we advance?
What if we get a Houston, Virginia?
That'd be fun, but let me tell you,
that would have to be.
That would be terrible.
I think that would have to be in the Final
worried
Four.
about Nebraska because Buzz Williams is such a good tournament coach, but I do think Nebraska has a lot of magic. They ran out of gas versus Illinois. I had a money line that game. I was gonna text you, but then I was like, I don't want to jinx it.
And that second half was brutal. That second half was brutal.
And Illinois, who I like, is 30 to 1.
I would
bet 30 to 1.
Illinois is not a bad pick. So the matchup doesn't work because I like both these teams. I'm very upset. Wisconsin and James Madison are both teams that I like.
Yeah.
Wisconsin has the thing where they didn't win the conference tournament, so I still kind of like the momentum and the fire they have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
One of their offense right now is just clicking.
Yeah.
So I kind of like. I might go out and I think they do too. I might go take a future on Wisconsin.
The other team that I like to go to the Sweet 16, my underdog team, but everybody's on this team, McNeese State.
Oh, everyone loves McNeese State. Wow. Everyone loves McNeese State.
McNeese State. I don't even know where the fuck it is.
There's some McNeese State alum.
Where is McNeese State, guys?
I think that's where Joe Dumars went.
Can you guys guess where McNeese State is?
Louisiana.
North Carolina.
No, Luke had it like right.
Then it was Joe Dumars then.
So the coach is Will Wade, who used to coach LSU.
I'll see if I can find alumnus. Oh, here we are.
It's gonna be fun, boys. This is a good time of year. It kind of
it is great.
Gets you through football till spring football.
Till spring football, Maddie, right? Till spring football.
We're next week, boys. Next week.
Who is it? Who starts?
UFL. UFL starts on the 30th, so we'll have one more show before the UFL
that's
starts.
Right. I have that on my calendar.
Right here. We all do.
Yep, it's right.
The indoor football league started last weekend.
How did that go?
Maddie, I'm gonna say it. I prioritize my football. I was watching fucking Nebraska playing.
Good. But at least you got like
the IFL takes like a little bit.
How does the new quarterback? How does that quarterback look?
For what?
Nebraska.
I was watching basketball. I was watching basketball, Maddie.
Oh, I thought you were watching the spring game.
No. I was watching basketball.
Because the spring game's got to be coming up soon, right?
Yeah, it'll probably be sometime in like
spring
April
practice
or May.
Just started. Yeah,
it'll be sometime like April or something.
Probably about a month from now. Or so.
Well, I was rooting for Nebraska. I was gonna text you during the Illinois game, but I was like, I didn't want to jinx it, and then the wheels just came off in the second half. Great start, a lot of threes. They got a couple guys that can shoot. Good coached. The one thing is, it's a tough matchup because Buzz Williams is a very good tournament coach, and his team's always overachieving the tourney. It's a coin flip game. 8 minutes have gone by in this stupid game. 5-4. What a joke.
I think Kansas also has an easy path to the Sweet 16. I mean, they'd have to go through your McNeese State.
Dude, Kansas ain't winning shit. They suck. Sorry.
Oregon's an interesting team too.
Yeah, Oregon. I have in the Sweet 16. They've never lost a first round game.
Oregon's an interesting
under this
team.
Coach.
Also, if we're talking like if you want a play-in team that I think could go hot, the winner of the Colorado Boise State game, I think.
Well, it looks like Colorado State is draining shots. They're up 10-4 now, which
good.
Is tough.
I hope they win.
It goes to Colorado State.
No.
Paul Westerberg's son. I don't think he plays basketball though. I think he's in a band. He's getting laid.
I think whoever gets in from Colorado and Boise State is a good pick for them to go far.
Coach Prime, hopefully Coach Prime will be at the game.
That's the wrong school.
No,
Colorado.
No. I'm saying Colorado, Boise State.
Oh, Colorado. I thought you said.
Those are the teams.
I'm adding a state onto the.
Whoever wins that play-in game, I think will have a good.
Real quick, we got to talk about growing up in the East Coast. The Big East really got snubbed. Seton Hall should have made it. St. John should have made it. I really think the committee hates Rick Pitino. Like they think Rick Pitino should be banned forever, but they can't get all the evidence against him. So they're like, fuck him. If he's on the bubble, we're not taking him.
You wanna hear the conspiracy theory, Maddie, behind all that?
Sure.
Yeah.
So what mid-major got a lot of teams in the Mountain West, not the Big East. Big East only getting in 3.
Yeah.
Who's hosting the NCAA tournament? It's Fox, isn't it?
Oh, CBS, TNT, TBS.
So I think Big East is not partnered with CBS. I think Big East. Yeah. And guess what? The Mountain West is.
There could be something there.
Yeah.
It makes sense, but also like you'd think you'd want those East Coast teams represented because there's more people on the East Coast.
To some extent, the Big East got fucked over from conference championship weekend.
Yeah.
With a lot of the 1 seeds and like the lower seeds in the tournaments winning the tournament, so they get these automatic qualifiers for winning your tournament. And then all of a sudden, now the number 1 seed in those leagues is now also getting like the at-large bid. Kind of screwed the Big East over with a lot of their at-larges. Because a lot of those teams were on the bubble.
That sucks. When Maddie and I were growing up, the Big East was the shit. Like, you had a
They're
lot
still
of great
really
teams
good
over there.
When we would love to see St. John's in it. It would be fun to see Rick Pitino in.
Oh God.
Yeah, St. John's would have been good. Seton Hall would have been good.
Dude, they played UConn to 5 points.
Exactly.
UConn is by far the best team. We'll see. It's a lot of fun.
I'm hype. I'm hyped for a lot of basketball.
I had my nephew fill out brackets. I signed him up to ESPN. He'll probably win.
What if you had the perfect bracket?
You gonna watch Iowa this weekend, Maddie?
Iowa, yeah. Fuck yeah.
They're a 1 seed. The women are a 1 seed.
Caitlin Clark's my girl.
I think they're the second. I think they're the second overall seed.
Should be.
When's LSU playing? Let's see another brawl.
Yeah. Oh, let me see.
South Carolina is obviously the best team, but
LSU plays on the 22nd against Rice at 3 p.m. my time. So
when does Iowa play?
Your time. Iowa plays. They have to play. I don't know who HC or UTM is. They're a play-in team.
HC.
It's Holy Cross or UT Martin. So they play the winner of that game. And they play the 23rd at you guys are 2 hours behind me, so noon for you guys.
Does Caitlin Clark have like the tournament record at all? Is there more records for her to break?
I don't know if she has a tournament record.
So break your own record.
But Maddie's right. Obviously, South Carolina is like the team. They're undefeated. Like they're killing it right now.
And they beat the hell out of LSU.
They're really good.
Yeah, so all last year she set record for points, 3-pointers, and assists. She had 60 assists over all those games too.
And also the Nebraska women are playing Texas A&M as well.
Let's go, Lady Cornhuskers.
Wow.
Yeah, they're a 6 seed. Nebraska's a 6 seed.
Is there like a buzz in Nebraska?
The funny thing is Texas A&M wins either way, because if you win, it shows how good their athletic director
is there. Is there a buzz in Nebraska for the Huskers? Like, people are getting basketball.
Maddie, I think Pinnacle Bank sold out like every game this season. The basketball, when someone like K-State comes along and there's an entertainment factor to go into Nebraska like basketball games, and we have like like every 3 to 4 years we have an actual like good season by our standards. People actually get into it and kind of go nuts.
Well, let's hope they win the game this year. They have yet to win a tournament game.
They need to win one. We're the only one in. If we can win one, I hope we can get that off our back. If we can win one, we can win 2.
You got to keep going. You got to be in it to win it, as they say. I think the big news in sports, though, is this: the Dodgers playing the Padres in Korea. Did you see the girl throwing out the first pitch?
Maddie was talking about this. I had seen a thumbnail. I thought it was like a virtual girl on the Jumbotron throwing out the Dodgers. She didn't look real in the thumbnails.
The Dodgers players lost their shit.
She's like gorgeous.
Oh, yeah.
Their wives are going to kill them when they get back.
What does she do?
She's an actress.
She gives men boners, Jim. That's what she does.
This is the sports story of the century.
I'm looking her up right now. Oh, never mind. That's not the right person.
Yeah, don't let your lady see this, Jim. You're searching.
Yeah, she will have your hide.
Yeah. But if you watch the Dodgers' reaction, I mean, this is insane. I've never seen anything like this.
Where is it?
Oh, I see the person. She's gorgeous.
Yeah. She's got good form, too.
Oh, real good form.
Yeah, real good form. Yeah. Yeah.
I've seen nothing.
I'm going to watch it right now.
Yeah.
I've seen nothing that she's been in.
Oh, this ain't even the right one.
By the way, Major League Baseball is so dumb. The first game of the year for Dodgers fans, I think it's in a couple days because they're starting in Korea, is 3 a.m. here. Like, why would you do that to the fans?
Well, it's a lot of people don't consider opening day until it's like at your park.
I know, but it's a tradition, and you're like the first game of the year is like a tradition,
But
and
look
it's
at all
like,
this press it's getting in Korea. Now Dodgers
Yeah.
going to have all these Korean fans now.
And
yeah, I
baseball's
guess
big in
they gotta do
Korea.
something.
Baseball's big in Korea for
They're
sure.
not making money in America. They got to do something, right?
Base.
They should
Yeah.
go over to Japan next. Like baseball's huge there too.
Yeah, they should.
Yeah, this is funny though.
Yeah, I'm looking at the video right now. This is
This
awesome.
guy's getting all horned up.
I mean, they're all getting horned up.
She's hot.
They're so horny.
I wonder how they're gonna explain it to the wives. Like, you see Freddie Freeman, who's like always known as a family man, and his wife is like, "Hey, I saw that girl throw out the first pitch. You look pretty excited." No.
Yeah, no, she threw a good pitch. Yeah.
Well, there's like if you look up the South Korean actress throws first pitch, you'll find other girls that are like doing cartwheels and throwing strikes. It's like, what the fuck is going on over
Hey,
there?
MLB, you want to get more fans out there?
Yeah. They should just let her pitch.
Well, have you guys watched Korean baseball ever?
No.
They get they get those girls that look like her that just stand in the crowd and just do like cheerleading and stuff. And
Well,
when
the COVID hit, the first thing that came back was Korean baseball. So when I was playing like Zoom poker, a lot of the true degenerates were like, they were picked.
Oh, I was betting on that shit.
Yeah, they were like, it was so desperate to bet on anything. And
shout out the NC Dinos. They're my dudes.
Yeah, there you go. Jim knows.
Oh,
Jim knows the struggle.
The NC Dinos are my team, Maddie.
But I think that might be the sports story of the century.
The Korean picture?
Yeah.
It could be. I think Freeman tried to suck his own dick after she pitched.
I don't blame him.
You have to remove a rib for that.
Well, he had a surgeon on standby. All right, we got NFL news. People on the move, yo. People on the move. Chase Young to the Saints. Not excited?
It's whatever.
I know. I feel like Chase Young, this is his whole career, is just going to be whatever. He'll sign a bunch of one-year contracts and then
you know who he's like modeling his career after? Jadeveon Clowney.
Yeah, no, they're like the same player.
Yeah. They kind of are. They both came in super hyped, didn't live up to expectations,
and are just good players. That kind of
and they'll still show flashes from time to time, but like clearly are probably just missing the work ethic,
or injuries, whatever.
Injuries happen too, yeah.
But they'll have like a great 10, 12-year career. They're just not going to be that Aaron Donald type player.
No, and they're going to bounce around to different teams. The Jets, they get Mike Williams.
I think that's great for the Jets.
Yeah, I think that's a good move.
Chargers just unloading and just
complete
rebuild,
dumping them, breaking up.
I like what Harbaugh's doing. You got to start over.
You kind of do, and he's lucky he's got like a franchise QB already there too. So
I heard someone say the first thing Jim Harbaugh said to Justin Herbert's like, "Hey, learn to hand off."
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, that'd just be funny.
Oh,
that'd be a very Jim Harbaugh thing.
He likes a run-orientated offense, but if you get that run offense, it makes it much easier on the passing game too.
It's true.
All they have left is Quentin Johnson.
Yeah, they'll pick up some people in free agency. They'll get some bargains maybe through the draft too.
Yeah.
A receiver's good, to draft because you can get them undervalued.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Well. They don't take as long to develop as some other positions sometimes.
And like it feels like every draft has at least like 2 or 3 really good receivers.
I mean,
and not necessarily like top 10 picks.
When the Vikings trade Stephon Diggs, everybody's like, "Oh my God, how are they going to replace him?" Well, they did. Right. Justin Jefferson's better.
He's way better.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We had Justin Fields finally found a new home with the Steelers.
I feel bad for him.
I like him on the Steelers though.
Well, they say he's not competing for the starting job. So
no, but he's a great. Yeah.
Yeah, he knows he's going to sit there.
He's going to get some action though.
Well, Wilson's older,
but
and
you don't
he's
think
been
they'll
through
put him
a
in
lot.
put him in the backfield a little?
Perhaps.
He's too electric to not sit on the bench. I mean,
no, I know what you're saying, Maddie. Totally.
Yeah.
And there's a good chance if Russell is sucking, they put him in,
I kind of like the Kenny Pickett thing better because here's a guy who's never done shit, who's had maybe 1 or 2 good games and maybe 6 or 7 mediocre to bad games. Comes in and is like, I'm the fucking guy. And they're like, okay, see ya.
How long did that last? 2 years?
2 years.
2 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Fields was traded for a conditional 6th round pick. Ooh,
and that means he had no value. He had
no. Well, the
value.
thing was too.
Well, no one was going to want him as a starter.
Yeah, that's the thing. No one wanted him as a starter, so they weren't willing to pay. They wanted to, whatever.
I mean, Zach Wilson might be out of football.
He could be.
They can't find anything for him.
No, they might just cut him.
Yeah.
UFL, come on down, Zach Wilson.
It's wild that
he might thrive in the UFL.
That draft had 5 starting quarterbacks.
I'll give you a stat.
Be on the bench.
What year was that? 22?
2020.
No, that would have been the 21 draft, though. That would have been the 2021
Was that the
draft.
one with Trevor Lawrence?
Yeah.
Okay, so I just saw this stat today from 2021 to 2022. There were 19 quarterbacks selected in the draft. Only 2 of those 19 are expected to start in week 1. That's Trevor Lawrence and Brock Purdy.
Isn't that wild that we
19 fucking quarterbacks? Yeah. And the only ones that started the number 1 and the last one.
So, and we get so excited for all these quarterbacks.
Well, you don't know.
It's so hard for them to succeed.
The 2020 draft. So who was in the 2020 draft before that one? That was the Joe Burrow and Tua draft?
Even Sam Howell got traded.
Where did he go?
Seattle.
Okay.
So he even got traded.
I like that. Yeah. He could play in Seattle.
But it's like you look at these guys and you're like, okay, you got Jaden Daniels, you got McCarthy from Michigan, you got the big guys, you got Caleb Williams. Who else is there's another guy?
Penix?
May and Penix. And we get so excited. And the truth of the matter is 1 will probably be good, 4 will be bust, and that's how it goes.
Yeah, I'm actually disappointed to see JJ getting a lot being a late climber, because I think he would be great if he could sit for a couple years.
Yeah.
You know, if he was behind a team that kind of had a decent quarterback, but
there's nothing wrong about sitting.
No, I think I would promote it. I mean, Peyton Manning could have probably helped him. He had a shit.
The 2 best quarterbacks in the last 30 years, Mahomes and Brady, sat the first year.
Yeah.
Didn't Rodgers as well?
And Rodgers too.
Rodgers sat for a couple years, right?
A couple, 3, I think.
Yeah.
Mr. Conspiracy Theory.
You think that's what he was doing? He was just reading Drudge Report, Breitbart.
The reason why I couldn't get in the game, he was like, the steel beams, man.
Yeah.
The steel beams.
You might want to look into 9/11. It's not what you think.
I think he starts every conversation that way.
Yeah.
It's so funny too, because he's supposed to be the starting quarterback this year, and he's got to defend comments about Sandy Hook.
Yeah, and
now and talk about possibly running for vice president later this year.
It's amazing. I love it.
Imagine you trade for this guy, and this is what you got to deal with.
You got one play.
But I think this just proves to me that the Jets can never have a quarterback.
But let me tell you something. Next year is next year. He's an athlete. He's got a lot of pride. I'm sure he'll want to ball out. That's all I will say.
Could you imagine if he just runs for vice president, though? How funny that would be.
He'd probably have to retire from football.
I know. It'd be funny to hear him actually have to debate and say all the shit you hear that comes out of his mouth. But
could you imagine interviewing Pat McAfee still? We got the vice president of the fucking United States.
Now, when your team rounded up all those immigrants at the border, what was going through your head?
Dude.
Could you imagine the Jets fans' meltdown?
Yeah. What's it like to live in the fucking White House, bro?
Melting down like steel beams?
Yes.
The fucking White House, bro.
Oh, dude. I agreed with your, when you were sending aid to Ukraine, I thought it was okay, but then I'm I don't know. And so, yeah.
You took a dump where Obama and and Hillary and Bill took poops, man. What is that like, man? That's a good fucking toilet.
I was a little disappointed today. My mom told me she watches Pat McAfee show every once in a while.
Oh, good God. Yeah.
I think that's sweet.
That actually is kind of sweet.
My
She probably
mom
feels like she's like,
Pat.
oh, Jim would like this. I'm watching the sports thing.
No, she'll
mom
like
wouldn't know who
she
Pat
just like
McAfee is.
she catches the clips on Facebook every once in a
Yeah.
while. And so he was
Why
talking
she
about
subscribe
Nebraska.
To Sports Hole. Then she could catch.
Well, I
these
think Matt
clips.
Rule's his buddy, right?
Are we on Facebook? Yeah, he does like Matt Rule.
We're on Facebook, but not really. We have an entity there.
We're on Facebook like how I'm just on Facebook. Like
yes.
you have an account, but you just are never there. Yes.
That's exactly what
it's the best way to use Facebook.
Yeah, pretty much.
It is. Like I forget, and then every time I log in, I have messages waiting, which is nice. It's like a little.
I got a guy. He Facebook requests me, and I add him. He's like, "Hey man, like I do this thing where I draw comedians or something, and it's like $100." I'm like, "Get the fuck out of here!" And he hits me up like every day, like, "Well, what are you gonna do?" And I'm like, "Well, you can tell that I haven't read your messages, so like." But like, there's some psychos.
Yeah, but people like that make money. They don't take no for an answer, and then essentially you just buckle. Trust me, all of his former girlfriends probably don't feel good about their interactions with him because he just wore them down until they gave it up.
That's how it goes. And
try to get him Me Too. That's how you get him off your
back. If I was your friend, I'd be poking you every day. Just poke.
I think we are friends on Facebook, Maddie.
Oh, we are? Wow, I'm more an Instagram guy.
Well, we mentioned Aaron Donald earlier. The GOAT has retired.
But
it was funny because they restructured his contract a few weeks ago, if you remember that. And basically, everybody says that was just he was doing a solid to the Rams to get some cap or whatever, however that shit works. God, it sucks for the Rams because that guy was just amazing year in, year out.
Love him.
Yeah.
How old is he?
32. Very young.
Yeah. Good age to get out.
Yeah, probably a good time to get out of there.
Yeah, you put in like 10 years into the league, but that's what Barry Sanders did.
Got a ring.
Two
championship appearances. One of the greatest defensive players of all time. You can't knock him. Nothing. Always been a class guy.
Got in that one bar fight, which was hilarious.
Yep.
What was that? I don't remember that.
It was one off season. Just some dudes just tried to like fight Aaron Donald in a bar.
Oh.
Yeah, that's
why would somebody do that?
I don't know.
I heard he's like the strongest guy in the NFL. Like I remember when I was watching Hard Knocks, they would show all these exercises he can do. That's just like you don't mess with that.
If you seen him with his shirt on, it looks like a fucking keg under his thing. That's just solid brick.
Yeah, you don't mess with that guy.
That's amazing. Well, we're gonna miss him. I'm gonna miss him. He was.
We'll get his number retired, and we'll be in Canton.
I think Kyler Murray on Twitter was like, "Thank God."
Yes, I think a lot of people are.
Yeah,
especially if you're not a mobile quarterback and he's coming. Holy shit! I would not want to get hit by that.
I was gonna say, I wonder what it'd be like to get hit by.
He would just push offensive linemen like flies. He just swat them.
Is his number retired at Pitt?
It has to be.
I mean, what do we know what he got drafted at? What?
Well, he was small. He's very small.
Right.
So they all said he was undersized, but then
he was the 13th overall pick.
Luke. He said Steph Curry was undersized.
Yeah, I kind of hate that when you sort of like look at this shit on paper instead of just letting your eyes do the.
Well, that's why they get it wrong. That's why no Kuiper exists.
I can tell you who was drafted ahead of him that played defense. Number 1 overall pick, Jadeveon Clowney that year.
Oh, of course.
We talked about him earlier. Also picked ahead of him. Greg Robinson, Blake Bortles, Sammy Watkins, Khalil Mack.
He was a good career. Very good career.
He's still active, I think.
Yeah, he's had a great career. Like that's not a bad draft pick.
Jake Matthews, offensive tackle. Mike Evans was ahead of him. Anthony Barr, Eric Ebron, Taylor Lewan. Odell, this is the Odell Beckham draft, too.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Donald, 13th, right before Kyle Fuller.
Wow. Those are some names.
That's also
a good draft. Those are some good players in that draft, though.
Teddy Bridgewater in that draft, too. DeMarcus Lawrence.
By the way, Teddy Bridgewater retired. He'll be coaching high school football in beautiful Miami. He seemed to learn a lot from his Dan Campbell last season.
I'm looking more at this draft. Devontae Adams in this draft at pick number 53. Allen Robinson, Jarvis Landry. This is a pretty good draft.
Yeah.
Devonta Freeman. This is a pretty good draft.
By the way, Colorado State's up by 8, 22-14 with 4 minutes to go.
Yeah,
stay tuned, folks. You don't want to miss.
Virginia not built to come back.
Virginia doing what Virginia does.
Thank God, though, too.
For America.
You guys, Virginia out of the damn tournament. Speaking of basketball, I found MMA Basketball.
What is this?
Click on that link in the rundown here, because
this sounds like right up my alley.
It is. It is. Of course, it's from Russia, as I feel most fun things do come out of Russia these days, because it's all white guys, of course. I don't know what the rules are, but you can sort of body slam people while they're...
Is it just like no foul basketball?
Kinda.
I have to actually watch this. Before I can watch it, I have to go through 2 ads.
Oh, people are.
Oh, this is the most. This is the most Russian thing I've ever seen. Like, it looks like an old high school gym.
I can already tell it's not my cup of tea.
They're wearing singlets.
Yeah,
singlets.
I mean, dude, they're getting slammed down on a hardwood floor.
Yeah,
too. Like, that can't be fun.
How is this not your cup of tea, Maddie?
I'm not a UFC
Maddie doesn't
guy.
like freak shows.
Yeah, only like people on the internet, but not like violent. I'm not a UFC guy. I'm not really a boxing guy. I don't like fights in hockey.
Oh,
I like old time hockey. Eddie Shore.
Maddie's a tender boy.
Eddie Shore, old time hockey.
Would Maddie watch the A7FL?
I'll watch the spring football.
Well, A7FL is full contact, no pads football.
Yeah, I'll pass.
All right, guys, enough of this.
We get into John Caffey.
All right.
Brown.
Dark Side of the Ring, episode 2. Whatever it is.
Season 5.
Season 5.
Season 5.
I made it season 5. It's one of the only things success. I wonder what's going to happen to this show, because Vice is like filed for bankruptcy.
It will go somewhere else.
Yeah, it'll go somewhere else.
I'd imagine it's a very cheap show to produce.
I switched my cable from from DirecTV to YouTube, and they don't have Vice, so I just bought for $16. I bought the whole season.
It's worth it.
Yeah,
that's not cheap. A bad price. Yeah,
I might buy the Herb
less than what you'd pay going to one movie,
because he's my favorite. If they ever make a Herb Abrams movie, I'm going to play him, and I'm going to win Academy Award.
This was a fantastic episode because, like, his shit starts right out of the gate. He's got, like, this sort of rich white trash family.
Mm-hmm.
Where are they from? Georgia?
Something? Yeah, I think Georgia or something, or North Carolina, Florida. Up.
Yeah, so, like, his dad was like a stock car racer, and he was a self-made millionaire with this big lumber company, and his mom helped run the lumber company too. And Buff was like a great athlete growing up, and they watched wrestling, but he never thought he would be a wrestler. But that's coming up later on. There was this guy's family was so interesting. I loved it. The dad
was tough. We learned his mom was very tough.
His mom was
tougher than nails.
Apparently she ran the business. So like all these dudes came in, and this was different times. You saw a woman running something. You're like, oh, fuck that. Now she would tell you who's boss and tell you, shut the fuck up, do your fucking job. His dad was a wild card too. He played poker, and one night he lost, and he was so pissed he grabbed a machine gun and went outside and slaughtered all these geese.
And I relate
on his little pond out.
Poker ain't easy.
That's a hell of a move.
Right. Imagine like you're a neighbor and you're outside smoking a cigarette, and you see your neighbor just go out and just blast all these geese.
When you lose a poker hand, when they like put the river out and some guy hits a lucky card, and you lose and you think you're gonna win, you go to bad places. I put my hand through a window
Matty,
about
if I get you a gun, will you bring it to your next poker tournament?
no, but I did put my hand through a window not too long ago, and I regret it. But in that moment, you're so mad because it's so painful. So I know what he was going through. He almost killed his son, but I guess he had to.
Yeah, that's coming up a little bit. So this dad was like cool as shit though, because when Buff and his buddies were like 15 and they were gonna go out drinking, like some parents will give you like a beer, like, okay, you're
Yeah.
cool, His dad would give him like bags of cocaine to go out and party with.
That's a hell of a party move.
Reasoning was that like, hey, I don't know what's in other people's shit. They're gonna do it. So here, do the coke. I'm confident in this coke.
He had a fentanyl machine.
This was before fentanyl too, so I don't know what they were putting in coke that was all fucked up early on. Did Maddie go take another shit?
No. I have a.
Where'd you go?
I have a pug, and I'm just calming the pug down.
Oh, calm
You
down.
hear him barking?
I didn't hear it. I couldn't hear it.
I couldn't hear shit.
Oh yeah, he was barking like crazy.
So then came the day when they lost the family fortune. They took out a bunch of bad loans, couldn't pay them back. And then times got tough at the house. There was an episode where Buff's parents were fighting and his mom was trying to leave. The dad wouldn't let him. So Buff comes out with a gun, like, hey, let her go. What are you doing, Dad? Like any son would do, defending his mom.
Yep,
But then his dad goes and gets a gun that just was sitting on top of the refrigerator, as always, apparently. And they get into a gunfight. And Buff shoots his dad. Luckily, his dad blocked it with his hand. Still end up in the hospital for a while with a gunshot. I mean, Jim, you and your dad go down like this?
No, but the gun on the fridge is how you know they were white trash.
Yeah.
Because we had a gun on the fridge.
I mean, imagine like you're having a shootout with your son, your father's son, like just a Wednesday night, you're just shooting each other in the kitchen.
Yeah. No, it is. Again, it's just and they eventually made up. His dad was like, no, you were right. You had all the right to do that. But the family was poor now, so Buff decides to take off. He's going to go get married, start earning something.
Very handsome guy, we should say.
He was very handsome. That's why his nickname was Buff Bagwell.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets married to his high school sweetheart, and he starts stripping, and then he meets his neighbor was Missy Hyatt. I don't remember her, but she was a WCW.
Why does it feel like half these guys go into stripping?
Well, if you're young and you got a good bod,
that's fair.
Why not? You get attention from ladies.
Yeah, he's probably banging all the time. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And then the best move was that he decides he wants to wrestle. So Missy Hyatt from WCW tells him what to do. So he goes to this wrestling school, and he makes his wife strip then to support him through wrestling school.
All the girls
to pay for, are you going to make your old lady strip to,
I mean, it's a miracle encounter though, that he was neighbors with Missy Hyatt, because he never thought about doing wrestling. Never.
Right. And he was like, he asked if his brother could do it. She's like, no, you got to do it, man. And basically then when he graduated through wrestling, got in it, and then started cheating on his wife, who cried every time she went home from stripping. She did not want to do it at all. He cheated on her.
Yeah.
Now he's a wrestler.
You're like 21, you're hot, you're on the road, you're getting all this attention. What are you going to do?
He picked up wrestling fast though. Like, let's just say, aside from his fucked up life, he was a very talented wrestler at a very fast pace. Like, he picked up the not only
good athlete,
but you also have to pick up the timing, the character, all that. It's a big intangibles of not just ring stuff, but outside the ring stuff.
And he had charisma too. Fast. You got to be able to work a mic in wrestling. Can't just be buff. So he gets to a tag team match with the tag team with Too Cold Scorpio, our old boy Too Cold Scorpio. And they become a hit, and I think they're tag team champions. And then he decided he wanted to get calf implants because his calves were too small.
That checks out.
And that was the clip I played earlier. Should I play it again? Because now there's context.
Yeah,
to
go
it.
for it.
And I work my calves, and they just will not grow. I said, well, what are you going to do about it? He said, I'm getting calf implants. I said, I'm sorry, what? And you got to put in, they look fantastic. I mean, awesome. And then his legs started hurting. Every time he wanted to poop or piss, I had to take him to the bathroom on my back because he couldn't move his legs.
And how old was he at this time again?
Right,
20. It's probably
like mid-20s?
Like early 20s, yeah.
Yeah, that checks out.
Those calf implants are dangerous.
I know.
Well,
I
especially
have
back
small
then.
calves. I knew I had a girlfriend once that wanted me to get calf implants.
By the way, fuck Virginia. They put up 14 points in the first half. Same
What's
old
the
shit.
score? What's the score right now?
27-14. I digress.
All right. So needless to say, he basically had to rush to the hospital and get those calf implants taken out. But he was so vain, he always considered keeping them in, even though the doctor's like, we're going to have to cut off your legs if you keep them in. Like, that's how twisted his mind was with looking good. All right. So then he got his big career break. The NWO came calling. Hogan and Scott Hall and Kevin Nash. And they wanted him, and he came in. He left his tag team partner at the time. Said, fuck you. And went to the NWO, and then everything lit up for him. That's when I remember him.
I remember there too.
Joined the NWO.
He was kind of like, they had like 4 or 5 main guys, and he was like right outside the main inner circle.
Yeah, he wasn't quite the headliner at this point.
So it was kind of Hogan, Nash, and Hall, and then like guys like Buff and a couple other guys like that.
And then he has his mom come in to start running the business of Buff Bagwell with him.
Do you have her strip too?
This is going above and beyond. Here's a little clip from his buddy walking in on him when his mom was doing her job.
And I walk in his room, and he's got a big old bathroom, and he's in a big garden tub, butt naked, and his mom is behind him with the skin of his dick pulled up behind his balls, and she's shaving his balls for him. He's on all fours and goes, oh, hey, bud, what's up? Even Judy, as he's shaving his balls, she goes, hey, Mark, how you been doing? Is everything okay? And I'm like, no. And I'm go, now I've seen it all.
Yeah, this is keep trying to picture this in my mind, and I'm not sure how this works. When you pull your dick behind your balls to shave your balls.
Never heard that.
Was it that, or was the dick pulled like up towards his belly button?
That's what I would think.
Well,
his
grown-ass mom was shaving his grown-ass balls. That's
I guess that's the real point here. Is that she was holding his dick around to shave his balls. Yeah, Maddie, you wouldn't let Rona shave your nuts?
No,
that's part of the job. That's part of the job.
I think she would do it for you. She loves you.
I'm gonna pass on that one.
Well, I'm gonna get a Ouija board and have a seance with my mom and see if she would do it for me if she were still corporal.
She probably would.
I think so. She owes me one. Anyway, then the good stuff hits. Then, of course, this is where every dark side happens. The injury. Gets in a match with Rick Steiner, former Michigan wrestling legend Rick Steiner, and injures his neck. And you don't want to have a neck injury when you're doing wrestling. And then here come the drugs. He's on the drugs to deal with the pain. But while this is going on and he's rehabbing, his mom starts being visible, pushing him around in a wheelchair, and they get her involved. And at first it's kind of this cute thing. And then they like get her really involved. And next thing you know, she's like tied to a forklift. Like, I don't know what was going on. I wanted more. I wanted Dark Side on just this angle, because I don't remember this at all. Do you remember any of the Judy Bagwell shoots? Or
I don't remember them, but I was so at the time like, okay, so I was in college during this, and wrestling was massive then because WCW was massive and WWF was coming back from the dead, like they were rising from the ashes.
Yeah.
And I was a WWF guy. Like I loved Austin, I loved DX, and I hated WCW because I'm a Northeast guy. You know, WCW was
right. You're
South.
loyal to your territories.
So we always like when Buff Bagwell brought out his mom, I couldn't watch it. I just thought it was garbage. I thought it was junk. And I was actually watching a shoot interview with Bobby the Brain Heenan, and he went to WCW at the time, and he was like, I gave him suggestions. They never listened. They didn't know what they were doing. Like once Vince got really competitive, he knew what he was doing, and WCW didn't. And having his mom come out, it's a dumbass idea because when you have like a 7-year-old lady like hitting guys, it looks stupid. It looks dumb.
Like knocking him on the floor with a slap.
And guys are like taking bumps for us. It looks.
It's like a parody. It's like a parody of what people will say like professional wrestling is.
And meanwhile, you got Austin like chugging beers and beating the shit out of Vince, and girls getting naked, and DX like beating the fuck out of Sergeant Slaughter, and it was it was just bad. And Buff Bagwell like was a good wrestler, but when that came about, that was just junk. It was garbage.
Yeah, it was pretty fucking dumb. Well, the thing was like I think WCW started sort of this adult oriented wrestling, but then McMahon just took it to like the next level, and you couldn't.
He sure did.
And then the WCW was sort of straddling the line of being adult but family friendly, and
they kind of got caught in a bad spot.
Yeah, so they
couldn't maintain it.
No, they should have shown Judy Bagwell shaving her son's nuts.
That would have been sick.
And that would have put him over the top. Unfortunately,
but when you start having like 7-year-old people like beating up 30-year-old men in perfect fit condition, it looks stupid.
By the way, what happened to Eric Bischoff? He looked like so young and vital, like in the Silver Daddy thing in the last season, and now he looks about 10 years older.
I know, he aged like so much.
I don't know what the fuck happened to him.
Well, I mean, dude, there's just people like that where you'll see them, and if you see them consistently, you don't notice it, and then all of a sudden you go away for a year, and they look like the Crypt Keeper.
I wonder if he got sick or something because his hair
what
was
that
all
happened to?
Shaved. Yeah,
it happened to the singer Ween. I mean, he was like, to me, he was always this young guy, and then all of a sudden he like went to rehab, and they looked like a grandpa.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because then they
in a matter of years.
Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully he's doing okay though. I hope he's not ill or anything. Let's see. Then, okay, so going on down the line, the WWE then acquired WCW, and Buff gets into a fight with like the trainer right away. Another
Always
wrestler.
A good move.
Yeah, dumb move. And then he's like, hot, and he's hurt because the trainer lobbed him on the head with a brick of ice. And then he wrestles in a main event match with Booker T, and it was a shitty match. And then he was basically fired a week later.
He was probably a problem. Like, he was probably drunk or showed up late or high. I mean, Vince is a guy that, like, you can do your drugs and drink, but you better show up. And I think if you're late or you're insubordinate, he just doesn't want to deal with you. And they were bringing in so many guys. So they have a WWF roster, and now they're bringing
a huge roster.
Right.
Yes, they're bringing in double the roster. So he wasn't that important.
No, wasn't that important. And that's the thing is when you're not important, you gotta mind your P's and Q's.
Exactly.
When you're expendable, you got.
I met Buff, but I'll tell you about it later.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah.
So Buff got clean for a period of time, and then with his luck, he has a seizure because he got clean. Apparently the withdrawal was a little too much, and he has a seizure while driving, crashes, get all fucked up again.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was hurting to pay the bills with his third wife, so he became a gigolo.
That I love.
And
love
this was
that
the
move.
funniest thing too, because Showtime had this series called Gigolos.
Yeah.
And they paid him $25,000 to be on it. And they said he was going to be just sort of a mentor, but he got roped into doing the show. And this was the funniest shit because then he thinks like he's got to have sex with this woman on screen.
And he can't get it up.
And he can't get it up. So he's like simulating fucking her and eating her out and all this shit. And then afterwards, he's telling the guys, and he's like, yeah, I couldn't even fuck her. And they're like, you're not supposed to fuck her. Like, you never fuck the client.
Well, I think Too Cold.
So he was
Scorpio
like,
had the
he's
line.
on screen, like doing these fake thrusts and all this shit. And
Yeah.
it was just like, he didn't even have to do it. Meanwhile, it like fucking ruined his reputation with his.
I think Too Cold Scorpio had the line of the show.
Oh,
though.
this is, hold on. I got it. Yeah. So Too Cold Scorpio, who knows him very well because they were tag team partners. When he heard Buff was going to be a gigolo, is what he had to say.
I was like, what the get the out of here. How the he gonna get on the gigolos and he got a dick about this big?
Holds up his pinky, by the way.
Very small.
Yes, very small.
Very small dick.
As a lot of guys who work out like that
Sure.
are overcompensating.
So
he does
not me.
So he went above and beyond in his gigolo show, and then
he fell in love with a girl.
Then he becomes like a real life gigolo, and the first client was this loaded lady, and he's sort of, his wife is away all the time, and he kind of falls in love with this lady who's rich, you know, makes all of his problems go away, and leaves his third wife. And now the drugs are back, and another car wreck he crashes into. It's like his third car wreck of the episode, I think. Like,
it's amazing he's alive.
Yeah, crashes into a bus station bathroom, and luckily doesn't kill anybody.
Shitting.
You know, so then he's all fucked up again, and then Judy Bagwell, RIPs it, decides to get clean with the help of DDP. DDP's full-time job is rehabbing old wrestlers.
Yes.
That's it.
Great guy. He saved a lot of lives.
He did.
His yoga.
Some people think he's a little not as altruistic as he appears.
The wrestlers, he's probably doing more good.
To me, it looks like he's helping people. I don't know. I guess maybe it's because he does it on camera. Maybe
he's doing more good than bad, in my opinion.
Absolutely. I agree.
Yes.
And I still hate DDP's hair, and that's why I never liked him as a wrestler. But as a man, what a great guy.
Yeah.
You know, DDP yoga. You should start doing DDP yoga, Maddie.
I might. I mean, it's life-saving to a lot of people.
Yeah. I mean, it worked for Scott Hall for a while. I mean, then he was just, his life caught up with him. It's working for Buff, and Buff brought in his other old tag team member who was like he said a half a day from killing himself.
You know, this had a happy ending.
It did. It was a good one because it wasn't like, yeah, he fucked up. He went through a lot of shit, but he still looks okay for a guy that's been through 10 car accidents.
And you know what? You don't know what it's like to live with a dad that like is really going to kill your mother in front of you. Like,
yeah,
you see that, you're not going to be well adjusted for this world.
No, that's like right off the bat, that explains so much.
Yes.
It does.
Yes. Jim, your mustache looks very dark today. Did you dye your mustache?
No, it's the lighting in this room. I don't know what's up with
it. Yeah, you look
now.
like Hogan when he was in
real quick. I did the Iron Sheik roast about 10 years ago at the Comedy Store, maybe 12 years ago. And I met Buff. He was there, and he was in his bad phase. They had booze in the back and pizza. He ate all the pizza. He drank all the booze. He went on, instead of roasting the Iron Sheik, I kid you not, he talked about eating pussy. And then the last thing I saw was, if you go by the Comedy Store, it's like right on Sunset Boulevard. He's walking in traffic, and everybody was like, he's going to die. So I saw him. We said hi and whatever. Like, I got caught with him in the back, just me and him. And I was just like, how you doing? And he's like, hey, what's up? And that was it. But it was weird. It was very awkward.
You know what, Maddie? He sounds like a winner to me.
He drank everything, though. Like, because they had drinks there, and he drank it all, and he ate all the pizza.
He was just there for the open bar. That's fantastic.
I love that.
Did you ask him where he gets his hats?
No, but he was wearing the stupid hat.
Yeah, Buff
And
Bagwell,
then
by the way, wore very stupid hats.
and
That
then when he
might
went
have been the
up
one
there,
thing I hated about him.
I could hear the host like, okay, let's get him off. Like they were trying to figure out how to get him off because after a minute they knew like, okay, he didn't write any jokes. He was just gonna go up there and talk about eating pussy.
Yeah, he's probably one of those guys that thinks he's just going to be a good stand-up comedian. Just like,
Oh
I got a
yeah.
personality, I can do it.
But you know what? I'm sure if you talked to him about it, he would probably tell you like I was in a very bad place and I made an ass of myself that night. I'm
Do you
sure
think
he'd be
he'd
the
even
first to say.
remember being there out of all the
Probably
other
not.
shit he's done in
No,
his
he
life?
probably not. And that was probably like on a scale of 1 to 10 of how hard he goes, it was probably a 4.
I think he might remember you, Maddie.
Yeah, Maddie's pretty memorable. He is. All right. Any thoughts this week, guys? Are gonna wrap it up here.
No, just enjoy March Madness, enjoy all the games, enjoy Caitlin Clark, enjoy Angel Reese, enjoy the upsets, the buzzer beaters, and like in 2 weeks we'll probably be talking about, last year was Florida Atlantic and San Diego, and we'll be talking about like some random team in New
Wagner,
Mexico.
baby.
Yeah, nobody saw. So it'll be like in New Mexico. Somebody's gonna make a run.
Well,
one team out of nowhere is gonna make a run.
I do hope that. Well, we had Michigan fire Juwan Howard, and it was kind of needed, definitely needed, unfortunately. But we'll still love you, Juwan.
Yep.
But I hope we get former Michigan assistant coach Brian Dutcher
Dutcher
from San Diego State.
Very good coach.
Oh, yes.
Yes, Michigan native from Alpena. So, Jim,
If you
anything to
wanna go-
add before we go?
That's it,
No, I'm
brothers.
going to shout out the UFL next week, so be
We're
ready.
excited
All right,
for
we'll
that
be waiting
too.
for that
We
shout
are.
out, Jim. All right, you guys, we'll be back next week with more news, more Dark Side of the Ring, March Madness, and we can't wait to see you guys for another exciting edition of the Sports Hole. See you guys. Bye.